Many Mid-Staters are remembering loved ones who died serving America. They lost their lives in many different ways after serving in many different ways. A Cumberland County man is remembering his father who flew spy missions over Cuba. Seth Kaplan, live in the ABC 27 newsroom with his story. Good afternoon to you, Seth.
Good afternoon to you, James. Yeah, this is one of those stories we wanted to cover because it sounded amazing, and then somehow it ended up being so much better than we ever imagined. This is Robert Primrose Jr. of New Cumberland Borough in Cumberland County. And this was his father, Major Robert Primrose Sr. of the U.S. Air Force. He died in 1964 in an accident at the end of a routine flight. But back in 1962, the flights he flew were anything but routine. He was one of 11 pilots who flew high over Cuba as spies during the Cuban Missile Crisis. They discovered Fidel Castro had not gotten rid of all the missiles pointed at the U.S., even though he said he had. They saved who knows how many people. He was 34 years old when he died in that plane crash. Robert Primrose Jr. was just 6.
We came home from school, and there was, as I recall, there was all the, fire engines and police and the officers from the base. And my mom was very upset, obviously, and it was very somber. As a 6-year-old kid, I didn't quite comprehend what was going on. But that night on the news, they showed that picture of him, and it's sort of the gravity of it really sank in.
Those U-2s flew 70,000 feet over Cuba. The pilots could see the curvature of the Earth. Rob Primrose Jr. told me, he watches news these days of celebrities going to the edge of space now and seeing all that, the curvature of the Earth. His dad saw that 60 years ago while saving the free world doing it. I mentioned how there is so much more to this story, James. I mean, just one thing, in Rob Primrose Jr.'s house there's this piano, and he mentioned, he said, that's a real special thing to me. And I just sort of asked offhand, is there a connection to your dad? He said, well, yeah, he bought a piano a year before he died, so when Rob Primrose Jr. was 5, and he wanted his kids to learn. And the other kids, as happens with those of us who try to learn instruments at a young age, they didn't really keep it going. Well, he plays, and he plays well, and he played for us, and that and more is going to be in the story coming up tonight at 5.
Wow, all these years later. And just interesting, just hearing him talk about how his dad, flew those and saw what you just said those celebrities are seeing when they go to space all those years ago. I mean, just a true hero, Seth.
He really is, and they all are, and of course, including all the people who served and died in more conventional ways, for lack of a better way of saying it. But sort of when you picture all the ways that people serve and all the ways that they did lose their lives serving, this is one of those that I, despite all the amazing stories that we always tell, I'd never come across one quite like this.
A great story for Memorial Day. We'll check out the full story coming up tonight, beginning at 5. Thank you very much, Seth Kaplan, live in the ABC 27 newsroom.